I'm going to take you on a brief tour of the building and walk you through Westminster's great facility. So come along with me. Right in through the main door where you'll often be met by a greeter. The information booth is there in the narthex. And I'm going to head down the west hallway. Goes past the church parlor here where we often meet with baptism families. The ladies' room and the welcome kiosk for name tags. I'm going to take a right into Spellman Hall, our largest space beyond the sanctuary. There's some stuff stacked around right now. We've been clearing out a storage closet, but this is one of the places where we often serve coffee. It's a place where we gather to have pancake suppers and classrooms. It's where Boy Scout troops meet. There are all sorts of large-scale events in this place, and it's where we have any large congregational dinners. If you ever hear somebody mention Spellman Jr., that's this room here. It's a classroom, and we've got some guys working on our HVAC today. It's a great space for us to gather, and often where large groups meet, Sunday school classes, even this session. I'll try not to do too many of those swings, lest anybody get seasick. We have a large industrial kitchen. I'll only show you part of it, but walk through. Some of you may know, if you've been here on third Sundays, that this is the place where sticky buns happen. And what a joy it is in the life of this congregation when we can share fellowship and food together. One of the great things we'll look forward to doing when we're back together. Walking back out to the very tail end of the west hallway, which is the opposite side from Route 202. And now turning south again. This was once our church library, and for a period of time we had contemporary worship in our fellowship hall, so we had nowhere to have fellowship. It was concurrent with our morning services, so we gutted the church library, opened up these walls, and made it our gathering space. And a number of years ago, we also added our Cafe 10 West, which is at rest during this season. Beautiful stairway that goes down to our preschool. I'm not going to go down there, but it's also where our younger students have Sunday school classrooms. Our preschool meets Monday through Friday and has upwards of 175 students, preschool grades. Continuing south down this hallway here, I'm not going to go into all of the classrooms, but I will walk you through one, which is, as every space in this church, a multi-use space. This is a middle school room and also adult classroom. Our Celebrate Recovery group meets in here. We have workshops in here. You can see it's set up for classroom space at this point. Lovely gathering. Our moms group meets in here. Bible studies meet in here. We do our CPR training in this room, large area. And turning right, and I'll look at this corner room, which is a meeting room, often set up for classes, committee meetings. Sometimes the elders meet in here, Stephen ministers meet in here, and you can see we have smart TVs in a number of places for that kind of technology use. Now I'm actually headed east across the back of this building, which is known as the Heckert Center, named for Dick Heckert. Gave a good portion of the resources of this church when the church was built. Headed toward the youth room. And you can tell, comfortable space. It gets used not just by the youth, but also by Bible studies and small groups, step groups from Celebrate Recovery. Sometimes staff will meet in here. I love telling people that you can see some of us when we were kids met in basement rooms down near the boilers in our churches. That's where they always seemed to put the youth. So years ago, you can see up in the corner a woman in the church painted what looks like exposed brick up in the corners of this room to remind some of us of what what youth ministry was like when we were when we were young. But this is great space for our students. This is home for our Imago Dei youth ministry. There's a pool table, ping pong, and a place for them to have snacks and to have fellowship together. Lovely space for them and for a multitude of other people. Passing a classroom and a bathroom, another classroom, and I'll walk into the chapel. It's one of my favorite spaces, and there's the Good Shepherd window, David carrying the sheep. This is a lovely space with different acoustics, actually a very lively room, you can tell now that I'm in here, with the hardwood floor. 8 stations of the cross, biblical stations that have been hanging in here for quite a number of years, which you'll see if you haven't been to Maundy Thursday, and during Lent you'll see them in the sanctuary. This is where we have our Wednesday morning chapel service every Wednesday, and I'll try to make a slow turn here, catch the breadth of the room. Small weddings and small funerals have often taken place in here, visitation before funerals. We have some other services during the year, service of remembrance on All Saints' Day. It's just a lovely, lovely space for us, and we can seat about 65 or so. It also has a screen and a projector and can be used for classes, and frequently our journey classes will meet in here as well as in Spellman Hall. That's one of the Presbyterian Church banners, all for the creeds of the church, and there are little plaques in the hallway that you can see, tells you about every one of those, and I won't take time to do that now, but it's a beautiful look out into our courtyard, and it's a glorious sunny day to be doing this tour. Turning back to east at this section of the Hecker Center, and that's 202 out there. And this is a walkway that heads out to the back parking lot to where the choir often parks, because this is the choir room right here. Passing the music office, where Bob and Glenn are. I already passed Sue Spott's office just right around the corner before this. And here's that library that I mentioned that was in the other corner. This was a bell room initially, and was hardly used, so just Wednesday nights. So that ministry is now in a back corner room in Spellman Hall, which is a great place for them, and gave us this great room on the main hallway. Passing now through the back hallway of the administration wing, passing a men's room and a women's room, which on Sunday morning are very busy because they're right outside the choir room. And I'll take a step in here. The choir room is set up and awaiting the return of Westminster's fabulous choir. It's also used for a number of large group meetings. We have a community camera club that meets in here, but this is where our traditional music gets rehearsed and vetted. A little staff kitchenette here. And I'm headed down the office hallway, and this will be the financial business offices right here at this end. Passing Chris Clark's office, our youth director, Pastor Jenny Clark's office, Pastor Ann Hatfield's office, and we're headed right to my office. And I thought I'd take you in here. It's a lovely space, which looks out on our memorial garden. And again, now I'm turning toward the 202 section. You'll see a lot of furniture in here. That's because this gets used by committees as well. Like I said, every space gets used. There are all kinds of committees that have met in here. Personnel has met in here, and search committees for pastors. So that's multi-purpose, multi-use. Passing Lynn George, our communication director, and John Frost, another pastor, Jerry McShane, our church administrator. That's looking out toward the memorial garden, and you can see it's under construction. And heading through the main administrative office, where Barbara Drain is in charge of everybody and everything and takes care of all the mail and copies and resourcing the congregation in its ministry. Back out onto the east hallway. Sorry if that was a little quick. And coming in opposite the door we entered the building, that main door. There you can see the information booth, headed down the narthex. And I'll close with a walk into the center doors of the sanctuary, this lovely space in which we get to worship, and one day we will be back together here. It's just a fabulous place to preach and be in worship. I love the beams, the bright open airiness. I like the fact that you can see out the windows into the world from which we came and see the world to which we are sent. Just a lovely place. So that's the Westminster tour. Thanks for joining me. I hope you have a little better sense of where things are. And I always tell people, look for the courtyard, just keep walking around and you'll find what you need to find. Thanks so much.